Okay, welcome everybody to the very first Hackathon workshops. I'm really glad to have you all here. The objectives of this workshop, pretty simple. Simple in that they're not simple. Leading up to the Meta Hackathon in 2022, October, which is a few months away, we're going to have a series of these workshops, envisioning the hackathon collaboratively and envisioning the workshops that we will be using to build the hackathon. Starting off with some opening words from our two guests of honor, Mr. Discordian and Mr. Charlie Chen. And they have 10 minutes to hold that space and open up a discussion if you want, talk the whole time. You guys will figure it out. And we'll follow that with a Teach Anything for Hackathons led by yours truly. And you'll learn more about the Teach Anything framework and Jorge Lucero, who was my mentor, who came up with it. And then workshop 3 is the Hackathon study group. Sam and Air and I will be like co-leading that, but it's more of a discussion and a question. We have allotted 20 minutes, but it doesn't have to be. And then we'll follow it up with a overall discussion of some of the questions we've been collecting in our question document and some final thoughts from our two guests of honor who will have hopefully experienced this whole thing and have be able to sort of share their version of it at the end, and questions and answer if you want to stick around, and then a wrap up. And so that's it. And without further ado, I'm gonna pass the mic over to Discordian and Charlie Chen. Take it away, guys.
If we want to describe this project, it can go back to one of the Orbit meeting, right, TP? So during that meeting, we said that we are going to have a hackathon, and TP said maybe we can do some like hackathons for hackathons, and also we're going to discuss how to make the hackathon because it's difficult, right? Everyone is doing it; it's difficult. So I said, that's right, that's a good idea, because we all know that the hackers are the future of our industry, right? So for those hackers from universities or from small startups, or those hackers who is from like Web2 but is very interested in Web3 projects, all those people are assets, are human assets. So we need to spend more time to them, not only give them some prize, but we need to spend more time with them. Try to let them know more about our products, know more about trends or what we are doing now and what we are going to do in the future, and let them understand what we are doing or be a part of us. They don't need to be our employee, but they need to know what we are thinking about and what our value is, what we are going to go. So all those information we need to deliver. We need time for them. We need time with them.
As a sort of last sort of touch on that, what makes a hackathon successful, and what are things that we would want to avoid in a hackathon?
I would say any hackathon can be successful. It all depends on like the hackathoners, I guess, like what they want out of it. If you've helped some people, then I would say that's success. I guess a fail would letting somebody who obviously cheated take a first prize, and then it doesn't have to be a fail right there. Maybe take action and listen to the community.
Awesome. Well, thank you both. You've been great guests of honor. You'll have another focus spotlight on you at the end, but moving forward, we've done it. We've made it to workshop number 1. The basic concept here is we're starting up some monthly hackathon workshops where next month we're going to have more workshops about hackathons and how to hackathon better. And so the very first step of SWAG, of course, is shaping. And here are some more points that I thought were important on shaping. And you all can read, so I don't have to read that, but unless you want me to. But we can also ignore those questions and just like, let's discuss what shape do we want for the next hackathon workshops, and what shapes do we imagine for, the key problems? What are they?
I would say one of the things that, coming from a non-STEM background, but with a little bit of familiarity of coding, I don't really know like where I would fit in or what to expect in a hackathon. I only recently, I think upon meeting Tippy, found out that hackathons aren't only about coding. That was like I was like, oh, I could. And I also just feel a little intimidated also being like a woman and just like not a dominant force in the space. I'm not always sure I'll be welcome, or like, not that I won't be welcome, but like that people won't try to like make sure that I understand what's going on, you know?
Yeah, totally. And I've heard that from a lot of people, Izzy. You're not the only one, not to call on Ari directly, but Air is definitely a person who we had talked to, and she's like, yeah, I'm kind of interested in them, but never really did one. And she's brilliant and organized, and she can manage a project. She can work with lots of different people. Now we're doing a hackathon together, and it's a lot of fun so far. So +1 to Izzy's point about maybe a key problem is inclusion, or letting people know that they're welcome.
How do you guys feel about hackathons? Like, what are some of the things that you associate with feeling upon going to a hackathon? I feel like I've heard from people who've done hackathons before that it could be like difficult to communicate with the team, things like that.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's like a big part, right? The team building process, like finding the right people that you want to work with and the different skill set you have. For me, my background is in like CS. I'm a developer, and it's compared to many others, I'm fairly easy to like get some friends and just like join a hackathon. But it was hard to like include new people, maybe like onboard a designer or kind of more of a product or business person onto the team. Mostly because it's hard to like, because you don't want to tell them exactly what to do, but then they're also trying to figure out what they can contribute. So yeah, for me, one of the motivations for doing this meta hack is like, how could we build better teams overall, not just starting from hackathon, but then even beyond hackathon, how could we build better teams for all kinds of interesting projects.
Charlie, Michael, Air, Ife, Don, you have any thoughts on understandings of the key problems, or should we start trying to come up with some possible or impossible solutions, and focus on like the structural stuff for the future?
Yeah, can you just summarize the key problems we addressed here before moving on to the solution, please?
Izzy just pasted in the chat. Inclusion, creating a welcoming space, communication, how to build better teams, including new people outside of a core friend group, trusting individuals outside of a friend group. Many devs do not want to outreach, teammates dropping out of project mid-hackathon. I've felt that before, and one teammate can cause a whole waterfall effect of just people going, forget about it. And like even before that, Izzy said hackathons weren't really on my radar before. If they were, I have no problem forging away. I think getting hackathons on a radar of people like Izzy or people like Air or even Michael would be really powerful, because they all have a lot to bring to a team or to a project. Possible solutions, impossible solutions. Let's just be crazy. Let's throw them out. What are we thinking? How about a machine that randomly gives people a teammate? Just like randomly gives people a teammate, and you're stuck together. And if you want to leave, you have to say why you want to leave. And then before you leave, someone who has emotional intelligence comes and talks to you and says, okay, what's going on? You got this random teammate. What's the problem? And you talk. That's a random solution.
I think that would need to happen, the check-in like throughout, because I think that there could easily be animosity that builds up that no one wants to communicate with this other person they don't know. So making sure that the team is good with the third party throughout would be really important.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like it's important for people to kind of interact first before like they start to work together. Um, so I'm going to talk more about this during the study group workshop, but I think it'd be fun if people had like have some kind of study group before they go into the hack, and then they could, maybe then decide if they want to work together or not. Um, and yeah, I think different people prefer different kind of people, and we have to figure out some kind of way, maybe like build a platform for people to match, like chat for 5 minutes and then move
Yeah.
on, things like that.
Yeah, totally. Personality, something about like a personality test to match you up with people. That could be an impossible or possible solution. Cool. Any other Ife or Izzy, Ari, Michael, Sam? Any thoughts about structuring this?
Yeah, one thing I would add is probably we probably could have done a better job of providing the context to everyone,
Mhm.
like besides the speakers, to like make sure they know what we're thinking, like what are some of the questions we're thinking about, and without like you said, like proposing too much solutions and give them the space to kind of share their thoughts.
Okay, cool. And so what about incentives and rewards? Any thoughts on this?
I mean, you gotta have t-shirts with hackathons, right? If we can manage well.
Yeah, yeah. Izzy, what are you thinking?
I don't know. I was just dreaming a little too big. I was like, if someone has a 3D printer, we could make a little printout thing. But yeah, that's kind of a lot. Yeah, I don't know. I was just reading about when Reddit started, the co-founder Alexis find whoever had the top story every day and email them like a picture of the golden snoo he made. I guess that's basically just a drawing, but I think it's kind of, it could be like a special drawing.
So one thing is the artist who's made the poster, like he'll get this recording and probably take some things away to make the POAPs for this one and the next one. One idea you just gave me is we can have the drawings be customized, and someone with the best idea or who took the most action during the meeting or whatever can get a special acknowledgement POAP.
It could be like in the yearbook when you're like most like funniest person, or like, most engaging question.
Great. That's good. All right, so the very next section is about hackathon. Briefly, in your own words, what is a hackathon?
A hackathon is a timed event where groups of individuals solve a technologically focused problem.
Agree most of Izzy said, and I just adding one thing. I think hackathon, one of the like very important aspect of the hackathon is competition. So we actually are going to like select some to be the winner, right? So that is also one important part of hackathon, right?
I mean, I would probably say a hackathon is a group of people that comes together to build out an idea or realize an idea.
Next one is, I think we have a pretty good definition already here. In October, we're going to have this meta hackathon. What could it look like? What do you imagine this looking like?